Hi, I'm Dawn Montefusco, life coach for writers and creatives. And this is the Ultimate Writer Series, how to break through resistance, ignite your muse, and honor your soul's calling. And today we have one of my favorite people and favorite coaches and favorite writers, Sacha Sterling. She's a business coach for stay-at-home moms. Through her programs, she supports women in creating financial independence, time freedom, and emotional fulfillment through launching and scaling their own home-based online businesses. Sacha is the best-selling author of her book, The Life Coach Business Model, How to Launch a Successful Online Business from Home. And I hope you can see this gorgeous picture she has on her book. Hi, Sacha.
Hey, Dawn. Thanks so much for having me. Hey, everybody.
Yay! Tell us what you're up to before we get into it. Just give us a little bit of what's going on. Any new projects?
Yeah, well, I just finished leading a 3-day women's empowerment retreat. And so my voice is a little gone. It was really fun. I'm in Sonoma County, California. So it's kind of the land of hippies. So we were all barefoot in a yurt for 3 days and did tons of ritual. It was so fun. And yeah, so that was really amazing. And, I'm just really, I have a client here who flew in from Canada. I have kids and play dates happening. I mean, I definitely walk my talk around. You really can be a mom and an entrepreneur, and it can look really real, which I know, Dawn, you appreciate, like just keeping it real life. And so what's up for me now is just really being committed to feeling into my life fully and enjoying the process and helping my clients win. And after this, I'm going to go take my kids and some other kids swimming. And so I can honestly say at this point, like over 10 years in as an entrepreneur, I really feel like I'm living the dream because I'm letting myself actually feel it.
Oh, wow. That's good. That's good. Feeling, because we get so stuck in thinking, right? And we get so stuck in thinking about the future. I feel like feeling is actually a very present moment situation. Yes?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And that's what makes me really different as a business coach is it's one thing to have a strategy. It's one thing to look successful on the outside or even be successful, but it's a whole other thing to feel good in the process. So getting connected with like, what do I want? And why is that important to me? And what are the values that are driving my behavior? And how to pivot a strategy or life choices when our values change. All of those are so important. Yeah.
Gosh, seriously, honestly, I love how you just said that. That's awesome. The other thing that I really love, and it just came to me in a flash, so I'm going to go with this. The way that you run your business and the way that you just said you had a client there and your kids there, back before, I don't even know, like when we were villages, when I grew up in New York in the Bronx in the 70s, and there were we're like a little village of everybody came over from Ellis Island and everyone did their business from home. And it was respected. It was like of course you lived where you worked and you integrated. And I was just in Italy and I noticed that every business in Italy, every restaurant, everything going on was pretty much like attached to where they lived to some degree. And I just love that model that you're modeling to the world, because we live in a time now where connection is currency, right? Connection is, our coach says that, but it's a big, big deal. So on that note, you also went even further and you wrote a book, which is a huge way to connect to people. Can you tell us what inspired you to write the book? And just tell us what inspired you to write your book?
Well, I, like many people, had an idea for a book for a really long time, a good 8 years. And the book that still isn't written, which I'm going to be writing this summer, is called Walking Back Home. Ooh. And so I had made a declaration publicly to my email list and to my clients that I was going to write a book in 8 weeks. And about 5 weeks in, the book wasn't done. And
I know that feeling.
And I was like, you know what? I think it's like, I'm being so precious with this. Like the Walking Back Home book is like, there's something on it that's like so personal. So I was like, what if I could just have fun with this? What if I could make a book for business where it's still fully authentic and sincere? But why don't I just make the first book so that just taking the pressure off? And it's really just about sharing what works, what's worked for me, and just had it be this light thing. I'm more of a audio person. Like I can talk. I love to listen. I'm a great listener. And so I thought, you know what, why don't I put together this training or share all my best stuff in a training and then get it transcribed. And that's what I did. So I spent 2 hours preparing for a training. It took me 3 hours to lead the training. I invited people on live. I then found an unpaid intern, a Stanford writing PhD, someone in like who loved editing the book. So she had it transcribed and edited. So that was totally free. I didn't actually even, I can't believe I'm admitting this to a group of writers. I didn't actually proofread the book.
No. I actually
okay.
tell people not to do that. No.
Okay, great. I'm like, I don't know what the writing rules are because I really don't consider myself a writer, but I'm a creator. And I love writers, and my dad was a writer, and my sister's a poet, and my older daughter's a writer. And so I'm surrounded by people who love writing. And so I reached the deadline. I had the book published on Amazon within the 8 weeks, and it became a bestseller within 24 hours. And and it's been amazing. So, and now I'm ready. Like the pressure's off, and now I'm really excited to write the book and actually stretch myself and actually write the book myself, because that will be a really great breakthrough.
So there's a thing. So when I was in grad school I got my MFA in fiction, and then I wound up not being very good at it. And so they crossed genre, and I had to do nonfiction and poetry. It turns out I was really good in nonfiction and poetry. So I had discovered my own sort of calling by accident, as we do. And I remember saying to my professor, I don't know if I'm a writer. And he goes, what do you mean? And I said, I wasn't writing a lot, and I wasn't following all the rules. And I was, even back then, I remember I was talking into a tape recorder, and we didn't have smartphones to do it all for us. And he goes, do you think like a writer? And I said, yeah. He goes, do you hear things? And you're like, ooh, that'd be great to write about. He goes, do you like really get like, ooh, I got to remember that. I go, yeah. He goes, you're writing. And I remember that took the pressure off. He's like, no. Writers don't always write all the time. They can binge write, and they might do it in different ways. He goes, speaking is writing. You never hear of talker's block.
That's so good. Oh, I love that, Dawn.
So what I love is that you honored your word, and you discovered something. And I actually have a similar story. I had a bet with someone, and it was 8 weeks maybe less. I don't know. Whatever it was, I won the bet. And what he had to do is paint my living room. It was really funny. And I didn't even make him do that. It was just kind of we were seeing what was the most miserable thing we would do if we lost the bet. And mine was do his yard work. His was paint my living room, which we didn't do. But I just spit it out. And it was no grammar, no proofing, nothing, just spit it out. And then I went back to it, and I had a colleague of mine who's a writer look it over. I got it edited, and then I had someone else look at the proofing or the whatever, and got it out to the world on the Kindle book. And I'm working on the book, right? The book I'm working on called Cracking the Resistance Code. But there's so much power in a Kindle book. Can you tell us how you felt when you saw it on Amazon? Because I remember the post when it was on there, and your excitement. You did a little Facebook Live. You were like jazzed to see it on Amazon. Tell us about that feeling.
It was so surprising, Dawn, because I was very unemotional about it. I was just doing it because a lot of my clients wanted to be authors. It was very important. And so I was just kind of leading the way like I do. Like, okay, let's just do it then. Like, don't worry about getting a publisher. Like, do it, write the book, get it out there. And I think what surprised me most, like what really got me excited, was just the response of my community of how many people purchased the book and read the book in 1 day or 2 days and just gave such amazing feedback. And then it became a bestseller, a new release bestseller on Amazon. And I didn't pay for that, right? It was actually just the support came, and it really humbled me. I was so touched. I thought, wow, I feel so supported right now. And then, my father passed away over a year ago now, and he was a writer. And it just, it made me think of like how proud he would have been. And so it was surprisingly emotional, the whole process.
Wow. Tell us a little bit about resistance. Now you're very authentic. You really are. You tell us about your journey and I love your authenticity. So when resistance popped in, I mean, it had to have at some point, always does. What was your way of getting through did you have that inner critic and what were some of the tools? How'd you get past that?
Well, definitely. I mean, the resistance on writing the personal book, like the vulnerable book, Walking Back Home, which has now been 8 years in the making, because I know the difference between resistance and something just not being ready, like truly not being ready. And so self-enrollment, like how to self-coach ourselves, is such a big part of being an entrepreneur, creative visionary. And sometimes I think people mistake resistance for actually just like their inner guidance saying like, I'm not ready. And so getting connected with like, is this really ready? Like if I'm really wanting this to come out into the world, like, okay, then what part of me needs to be acknowledged or enrolled or some sort of self-process to then get on board. And other times it's not time. It's not the right time. And so what we're writing about or what we're launching a business around is just as important as anything else. Yes. So it's maybe not even like writing the book. It's like, what is the book about? Or it's not even about launching the business or the program. It's like, well, what is the program about? Perfect example is like, I have a client who her company is called Healing the Children of the Opioid Crisis.
Wow.
Very big work. She has big stories associated with it. She wasn't ready to bring it out into the world until very recently. And so what we did was we brought something that was less personal.
Yes.
And she was monetizing something that was like, she was ready to monetize until she was ready to go there. So I think resistance, it's important to get over resistance, but I think a lot of people are in isolation around their own emotional like journey and understanding. And so I'm not a big fan of people jumping before they're ready emotionally. So yeah.
Yeah. What I'm hearing, what I love is, and I like to emphasize this, you don't have to show it to anybody. Like writing it can be for you. Like and then you can sit with it for a bit. So you can see, what am I healing within me? What's coming out here? Getting past the resistance of the actual writing doesn't mean, oh my God, people, I hear, I don't know if I'm ready to be published and I don't know what am I going to do? How am I going to market it? They haven't even written it yet. And I said, I'm like, well, let's go baby steps and see what happens to just do the draft for you. And I think that's kind of important when we have that calling to want to get a story out. Don't you think like some people get so far ahead of themselves that some of the healing can happen just from the writing?
Absolutely. And I think this is where we're coming from very different perspectives. Like people come to me because they want to make money. And so whatever the priority is, we reverse engineer the plan from there. And so if the goal is to monetize it, then we need to make choices that are in alignment with that. But if the goal is to self-express and to birth the baby book, right? Like then have clear expectations around like, yeah, well, what's the point of it? And is it enough to finish it? And then work, like if I want to monetize from there or build a business from this, like then have the monetization plan. So yeah, if we're putting all the pressure on one thing without having one clear priority, it can get complicated. So I totally hear you and think that that's beautiful work is to, if the goal is to write this book for me, right, for you, for a healing process, which many people approach writing as, like, wonderful, and being clear that that's the most important priority. So having one very clear priority of whatever we're doing, like I go into everything with a priority, everything with an intention.
That's great advice.
Just one. Just one. First.
That is great. It's funny that you should say that. I had a client who the priority was, I don't know what I'm going to do with it afterwards, but I know I got to get it out of me. And that's kind of how I eventually found what my ideal clients were. It was more about them getting it out. And then I have all kinds of experts guest speak in my groups so that whatever they want to do afterwards, they go on to someone else. But what I love what you're saying is that one priority, because oftentimes, more times than not, their main priority might be, okay, I want to get this out for my eyes. Then they get so calm from that. When they finish it, they go, I kind of want to show it to other people now, like I love that idea of just one step at a time, of the reverse engineering. Excellent, excellent advice. Yeah. Did you ever get caught into the trap I know I do sometimes, of comparing yourself before you launched the book. Did you ever go into the whole like, well, it's not as good as blah, 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 or maybe I should blah, 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 where you lost sight of just do you?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I think it's in any industry and whatever we do, comparison comes out, right before my assistant hit publish, she's like, okay, you ready? I was like, okay, yeah. Like I'm saying I have something to say in business amongst, on Amazon where you can buy every great business book. Like, okay, sure. Why not? Let's go. Yeah, of course. But something that I do to self-coach myself in moments of that is I ground back in. I'm like, okay, I'm coming from such a pure intention. Yes, I'm human. I'm not perfect. I have selfish desires. I make mistakes, but at the end of the day, I'm a good person like you who has a big heart and is on a mission to help people or to make a difference in the way I can. And so it's like, that's good enough.
Yes.
And then the other piece is that this saying that changed my life around this comparison conversation and procrastination is, to the third grader, fourth grader is king.
Oh yeah.
You know that one? And so the same is true when you're writing or putting out anything is, like there is no better or worse, but it's like, who is this for and how will it help them? And so often people can't learn from someone who's too many steps ahead. It's that third grader, fourth grader phenomenon, right? The third graders are open. They respect the fourth graders. They're looking up at them. They're like, oh my gosh, they're so cool. I can't believe it. Oh my goodness. Or right. But they still feel like they've got a chance. Like on some level, they feel like they have a chance to be friends with them. And that's what business is. That's what, a lot of
and writers.
Yes, exactly. So, your book, your story is going to land with the perfect people who need to hear it from you, not from someone else. And then people buy based on who they know and like and trust.
Yes.
And so there's so many factors where there's room for all of it.
I'm going to model that in just saying it happened with me. So we're in the same group of entrepreneurs with our coaches. And I saw that you published a Kindle book. And the first thing I thought is, oh my God, I want to read Sacha's book because I know you, because I love you, because I follow you, so sure. There's other books that I could read, but I don't want to read other books because I feel connection to you. Your value system is the same as mine. So there was a jumping for your book, and I want people to hear that out there because there is an audience for you. And there are people out there who benefit so much from your words. So we got to not think about, like you said, just think about the fourth grader. It's okay. That where you're at is exactly where you're at. And what you have to say, there are people that really want to hear it. So I really appreciate you saying that to the audience, because I often hear, well, who's going to want to read it? And actually, it's not the olden days. You can get on social media, publish it on Kindle, and hit send, and people will read it.
That's right.
I want you to tell people about the thank yous you received. I'm sure you got, wow, thank you so much for writing this.
It surprises me, to be honest. I went to a live event a few weeks ago, and not even on a break during the session, a woman got up to share and then referenced me and was like, and Sacha, your book made such a difference, that story you shared. And I was like, oh, wow, people are reading the book. That's so cool. Like, it's making a difference. Wow. It's still surprising. I'm like, wow, that's so cool. So I always think about, like being a creator, being a writer, being a content creator, business is so much around content creation, whether it's video or audio or written. I always think about all the content that changed my life. That, the person who put it out there, a book that I find at a thrift store or that gets left at a spa or, that thing, that podcast gets forwarded to me or whatever. It's like, right. That's just like almost the creator sometimes can be so flippant about it because it's just them, right? They're just like putting it out there, or maybe not. Maybe it was like a big deal to put it out there, but then it's out there and it's leveraged and it's working for them forever. And, there's so many moments and books and content that's changed my life, changed the trajectory of my life. So like, That's all of us. All of us have something to say. And we don't know when or who or how it's going to make a difference, but it will if we have the courage to put it out there.
Yes. Yes. I couldn't have said it better. When you were writing, did you have one particular, like sometimes they say this, the whole thing, like write to your ideal reader. Did you use that exercise? I'm just curious.
Yes, that has been a huge, huge secret to my success in every one of my businesses. Some I did with my husband, and then this business I've done on my own. But that's absolutely, having one clear ideal client avatar is so key. And also understanding their values and what motivates them, you know, what their fears and pains and hopes and desires are. It's a big piece. That said, my book was educational. So that was very important. If it was more of a memoir, I wouldn't worry about that. If it was like me doing it for my own healing and letting people in on me being me, I wouldn't worry about how it was landing as much. But for like such a clear marketing book, like a book for business purposes, it definitely was catered to one type of person.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with that. Last question. God, time goes by so fast. Why is it important to finish what you start? Tell us about the finishing aspect in anything. Like you finish what you start, and we've bounced that around. But tell the audience what happens when we just finish what we start.
Definitely. Well, I used to have a really bad habit of over declaring and under delivering. And I didn't understand what I was doing. Like anyone in my life would never have guessed it. They're like, she's so driven, she's so committed, she's like all right. And so, but I knew that I was over declaring and under delivering. And so I was losing. And so it was very erosive to my confidence. And so other people, you might have the habit of, just starting and not finishing, whatever that is, right? Maybe it's like, oh, I'm going to go clean that up. And then we don't do it, right? Anytime we do that on any level, regardless of what other people see, we're eroding our confidence. And it's very hard to trust ourselves when we don't finish what we say we're going to do, or we don't finish what we start. And so setting up the habit of completing really helps us to feel empowered and in our confidence, and we trust ourselves. When we say something, we trust ourselves. And, you know, if someone's out of practice on finishing what they start, I always like to go back to realistic goals, like set something that is actually, you know, you can do without a doubt, and just build up that habit of completing and winning. And it just affects everything. People respond to us differently when we feel successful and confident and like we're winning.
Oh, I love it. Thank you. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. Any last words for inspiration for the woman out there, the mom out there who wants to write? What do you got?
Yeah, go hire Dawn. Get it out there.
Go hire you too.
No, I know you didn't know I was saying that, but seriously, I love you, Dawn. You're doing such incredible work. And, you know, I have so many friends. I have one friend who has 90% finished books in her closet.
Whoa.
Like, right? There's some deep fear around writing and putting our stuff out there. And if you're like really, you know you have something to say and you have this book and you need someone who's been through it, who can help you to complete and put it out there and feel, you know, everything you want to feel in that, like check out Dawn, because, you know, I know you personally and I just love and adore you. And maybe I'm going to connect with you around the walking back home, because I think that's more of what, you know, maybe you watching it, it's like, maybe it's not a book for business. It is the heart book. And there's so much, you know, there's so much on that.
People actually, it's funny because since I actually love it when an entrepreneur writes a memoir. I eat it up because I'm curious about their lives, you know, and so that I just think is really exciting that you're doing that. And all you ladies out there, especially your moms who are struggling with any online businesses, or you have an idea, Sacha is ridiculously amazing. So definitely check her out. All of her information will be on this page, and you have a free gift for us.
I do. So yeah, if you are looking to continue to build or grow your business over summer, I have a summer success formula for mompreneurs. So you can click the link wherever it is and join our free private Facebook group. And I'm doing trainings in there. And, you know, I work very limited hours, about 4 hours a week over summer, and I'm still able to run a very successful business. So wherever you are, no matter how much time you have, you definitely can do it around your kids. And so I'm going to be sharing with you all the hacks and secrets around how to do that.
Oh, that's so much fun. And actually, for those of you without kids like me, I babysit and I'm around kids. And there's something about moms that when you learn their tricks on time and how they get stuff done, it's actually really inspiring, because then I go, whoa, this is something that I can do, you know, in my life too. So go check out Sacha. She's a blast and such a pleasure, and you will learn so much from her. Thank you so much for being on the show, Sacha.
No, thank you, Dawn. Thank you so much.
And everybody go out and get her book if you want to learn how to really start your business. She's the master. So have a great day, and thank you so much.
Bye.
Okay, bye.